Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is May 28th, 2026. My name is Mike Kelly. I'm the Chair of the Board of County Commissioners for Johnson County, Kansas. Welcome to today's meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Fast.
Aye.
Commissioner Myers.
Myers, aye.
Commissioner Brewer.
Brewer here.
Commissioner Hanslick.
Hanslick here.
Commissioner Ashcraft.
Here.
Commissioner Allen Brand.
Allenbrand, aye.
Chairman Kelly.
I'm here as well. We have a full board, therefore a quorum in a duly constituted meeting. Therefore, I invite folks who are able to stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. We have a proclamation this morning, so as I head to the podium, I'd ask that you join me in checking your cell phones or other noise-making devices that you may have brought with you here today and ensuring that they are silenced or turned off. We greatly appreciate your cooperation and partnership. Over the last few months, we've had the opportunity to proclaim several different dates or groups or specific months, and we're going to continue to do that in Johnson County, not only to recognize the good work of our team internally to the Johnson County government, but to recognize the richness of our culture and those ties that bind us in a wonderful community here in Johnson County, Kansas, as a community welcoming to all. And so today we continue in that tradition. It's my honor on behalf of the Johnson County Board of County Commissioners to recognize a holiday that was yesterday, the Eid al-Adha, one of the most significant observances in the Islamic faith. We join millions around the world in observing a time centered on sacrifice, generosity, and community. Values that resonate deeply across the traditions of the holiday, but also here in Johnson County, Kansas. We're grateful for organizations like the Islamic Center of Johnson County, which has long served as a place of community and education and connection, while helping foster understanding and meaningful relationships and helping the community, both Muslim and non-Muslim, in Johnson County. The holiday, while it was yesterday, the spirit of this observance and the values that it reflects continues to inspire us. It's an opportunity to recognize the many contributions of Muslim Americans, of Muslim Johnson Countyans, their leadership in healthcare, education, business, public service, the arts, and through their everyday activities of service, generosity, and neighborliness that strengthens our community. Therefore, on behalf of the board, it's my pleasure to present this proclamation to Saleha Khan and Urshad Shima and all who are here in recognition of the holiday. Ms. Khan. Thank you. Come on.
Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. May greetings of peace and blessings be with you all. Thank you so much, Chairman Kelly. Thank you so much, commissioners. Thank you so much, county manager's office and team. Thank you to all our members of the public, and thank you so much to the members of our Muslim community who are here to join us in accepting this proclamation. If I could just have a moment to give you all some recognition, if you could all please stand. We represent, as Muslim Johnson Countyans, people of all different backgrounds, races, ethnicities, socioeconomic classes, professions, and you can see a little bit of that with all the diversity that we have here. My name is Saleha Khan. I am Proud to be a Muslim American serving as the chair of the Johnson County Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Coalition. And this is a moment where we thank the county for recognizing the many diverse communities, specifically the Muslim American community, on this holiday of Eid al-Adha. We have two holidays at the end of Ramadan, as well as this one. And when we greet each other, we say Eid Mubarak, which means happy Eid. And we celebrate, though it was yesterday, for multiple days. So the celebration continues. And I brought some chocolates that I'll pass around to share, if that's okay. We celebrate and honor Prophet Abraham, or Ibrahim as we say in Arabic, who was known as Khalil Allah, an intimate friend of God, for his devotion, for his sacrifice, for his commitment, and we celebrate that. And you can see that represented in the Muslims that do this work here in Johnson County across various sectors. And we're so grateful to be celebrating with you all. We're grateful for this recognition. Thank you for this opportunity, and may we continue this work of bridge building. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. My name's Haroon Chima. Firstly, I want to thank Chairman Mike Kelly and the rest of the board for declaring the Eid al-Adha proclamation for the Muslim American community. The proclamation, it's more than just a recognition of the holiday. It's a reflection of inclusion, interfaith understanding, and the importance of bringing different cultures, different religions together. It reminds us that despite our different backgrounds, cultural differences, we all share a common value of compassion, service, integrity, generosity for one another. The Muslim community, it's proud to contribute to Johnson County, through service, business, law enforcement, healthcare, education, charity, business, community involvement. Eid al-Adha is a time that encourages us to give back, to help those in need, to strengthen our connections with our neighbors, our friends, strangers, whoever that might be. We're grateful to live in a community. I'm grateful to live in a community raised here in Johnson County, gone to high school, college, everything, that embraces diversity and inclusion. And I would just want to thank everyone that's come out today for the proclamation. It means a lot for your support and for this occasion. Again, we're very thankful. So thank you so much.
Yeah, please go ahead. Thank you. All right. Thank you all very much. We are going to continue with the meeting with the opportunity for public comment. This is an opportunity for folks who would like to speak on items of general county importance to speak to the board assembled. We do ask if the folks want to speak on items that are on today's action agenda that they register with that particular action item and allow this time to be on general county comments. If we do have commentary on the action items, we're going to ask that it be held during this general public comment session for the specific action item. When you do come to the podium, when your name is called, we ask that you state your name and the community in which you reside. We limit these comments to 2 minutes. There's a clock on either side of the dais that'll assist you with that time period. If you happen to go beyond that time period, we'll give you an opportunity to conclude your comments. We do ask that members of the public refrain from remarks that are personally offensive, impertinent, profane, slanderous, any comments that would insult any person or groups of persons. If we happen to stray into that kind of public comment, we will provide a warning. If it continues, we'll ask that you step aside from the dais. We do allow virtual public comments, but I don't believe anybody's registered for virtual public comment today. Therefore, we're going to call on public commenters in the order that they registered. We'll start with Brian Perkins. Is Mr. Perkins here today? Mr. Perkins.
Good morning. Brian Perkins here. I reside in Olathe, Kansas, and I am homeless. Today marks 621 days of experiencing homelessness and housing instability. In 621 days, I've averaged 17,500 steps per day. That's about, I think it's about 6.7 miles a day. That's 10,867,500 steps and about 5,043 miles. You know, I've met people that have experiencing homelessness that have done 40,000 steps a day, that have done 20,000 steps a day, that have done 35,000 steps a day in a lot longer time period than I have, years worth. So I sit here and, as I've said, I don't understand. I'm thankful, but I don't always understand the reason why I have it as good as I do right now. People like my friend Donald Stout that's here today should not have experienced homelessness at 73 years old. There should be, no one should experience homelessness, I mean, period, but there should be limited time that you fall into that homeless stage of life. If something were to happen, you were to get to that point in life where you make a mistake or things just happen, life happens, there should be a period where there's a shelter available, then you get to be transitionally housed into, get resources, get the case management you need to get on your feet, and then from there, you're housed. And I really hope, as we are working on the affordable housing, attainable housing in Johnson County, I really hope that we're focusing on 30% AMI. Because the more we focus on 30% AMI, the more we're gonna hit a lot of those people that just need a helping hand to get on their feet, get to work, and they'll be housed. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Perkins. Next is Donald Stout.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Donald Stout from Overland Park, Kansas. I sustained homelessness for 9 months after I left 1020 on April 1st of 2025. I want to cite how hard it is to get housing, as we all know. It took me from May till early September to get a place. I received a lot of no's because of my previous status of being homeless and because of being evicted. But finally, in a HUD-supported apartment, I applied May 15th, and I was able to get into the place on September 4th. So nothing happens quickly. There was a change in management, and they lost my paperwork, and I could go on to a litany of more things, but I won't. Also, I'm sure you recently saw the HUD's January figures showing that there's more homelessness in Johnson County than ever before. And when I was homeless, the New Haven Church of the Seventh-day Adventist of Overland Park provided showers Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and a meal also with that. But this year, they're only providing shelters on Friday. And and I've talked to several homeless who are so disappointed that there's only one day. And, Johnson County, I've been asked by several people where's the day shelter in Johnson County? I said, there is no day shelter. I hope in the future that we can get the funds to have a day shelter, because this is such a valuable service that can be given. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stout. Next is Ben Hobart.
Ben Hobart, Westwood Hills. Chairman Kelly and Commissioners, at your May 14th meeting with respect to the Shawnee Redevelopment District, I stated in relevant part, quote, "It is particularly troubling that Commissioner Fast would throw the SMSD, Shawnee Mission School District, under the bus in this way, given the budgetary challenges being faced both by the county and the SMSD. Commissioner Myers, in his comments, fixated on whether the Shawnee Mission tax increment financing property was located in his or Commissioner Fast's district. This fact is irrelevant when determining which school district bears the brunt of lost tax revenue in future years. I knew where the redevelopment district was and that all of the project areas were completely within the Shawnee Mission School District. Commissioner Myers falsely accused me of misinformation and speculation when the error was his. I had properly focused on the school district boundaries which control this issue. I had spoken with the DeSoto Shawnee U.S. District or Unified School District 232 Council, who confirmed that all of the Shawnee TIF property is assessed in the Shawnee Mission School District. I provide the board with a map of the Shawnee Mission School District, which confirms I was correct in this conclusion. The board should acknowledge that I was precisely accurate in my comments. Commissioner Fast is the only commissioner standing for re-election who did not raise any concern about the Shawnee TIF and the loss of tax revenue to support the Shawnee Mission School District. Commissioner Myers and the board should apologize to me for Commissioner Myers' false accusations and the board's mean-spirited false ridicule, which was without basis in fact. If ridicule is ever justified, it is the board which deserves it in this instance. Thank you for receiving my comments.
Thank you, Mr. Hobart. Next, we have Jeff Harkness.
Jeff Harkness, Kansas, Johnson County, Overland Park, and the Shawnee Mission area. Most people think public-private partnerships are just incentives and developers. There's actually more to it than that. It also includes safety, security, and surveillance of public transportation, public buildings, public areas, private businesses, private property, and neighborhoods. I know how the immigrants and the minorities feel walking through a neighborhood late at night, coming home from work. Hey, what are you doing? Just got off work, officer, I'm going home. Where's your car? And I tell them, well, my eyes are such I cannot drive. I gave you guys a packet of my HOA, some HOA information, and I found that what my HOA has nothing to do with all these current housing programs in the county, the city, or the school districts. So I called the Public Works to find out when they were going to redo the Neiman Road in between 95th and 91st, which is the west side of my neighborhood, to kind of get an idea when I can initiate my neighborhood into the pilot stuff. As we transition from we the people to me and thee, and not in my neighborhood, direct democracy, I think outsourcing will be key. The Iranian war has been going on for 13 weeks now, and for just over a year, we've had the ability to redo the last 13 years. Now, Pope Francis began his tenure in 2013. We redistricted in Johnson County, and the Alpha generation started. Last year, we redistricted. The Beta generation began, and Pope Leo took charge. Now, what I'd like to see is the Christians, the Jews, and the Muslims all get to the bargaining table, approve the Abraham Accords, and make Jerusalem the capital of the faith-based religions in the world. Then allow the Crimean Peninsula to go back to Ukraine, stop the Ukrainian war, and maybe consider allowing Russia to go back into the G8 to help with the nuclear and uranium enrichment stuff. Thanks for allowing me to state my comments.
Thank you, Mr. Harkness. I believe that's all the registered public comment that we have for today. So at this time, we're going to move to notes for the record. I'd like to note that I will be signing the following. First, I'll be signing an assignment and assumption of a lease agreement and related bond documents, an R2 bond in connection with $75 million aggregate principal amount of taxable industrial revenue bonds, 27302 West 159th Street LLC project, Series 2025, located at New Century Air Center between 27302 West 159th Street LLC as a signer and MMIP New Century Owner LLC as a signee pursuant to Resolution Number 092-25 and Johnson County Airport Commission Resolution Number 01-2026. Additionally, I'll be signing a Kansas Department of Corrections Juvenile Behavioral Health Grant application. We are, at this time, going to move to the business session. We're going to start with the consent agenda. I have received requests to remove items number 2 and items number 5 from the consent agenda. Are there any further proposed modifications to the consent agenda? Seeing none, then is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda as amended, removing items 2 and 5? Commissioner Hansler?
I move to adopt the consent agenda as amended.
That's so moved by Commissioner Hanslick and seconded by Commissioner Allenbrand. Would the clerk call the roll, please?
Commissioner Fast.
Aye.
Commissioner Myers.
Myers, aye.
Commissioner Brewer.
Brewer, aye.
Commissioner Hanslick.
Hanslick, aye.
Commissioner Ashcraft.
Yes.
Commissioner Allenbrand.
Allenbrand, aye.
Chairman Kelly.
Aye, that's 7 in favor and none against. Is that consistent with your count?
It is.
Very good. Then we'll move on at this time to what is designated as item number 2 on your agenda. This is considering an exception to competition for the purchase of ultraviolet light disinfection equipment from Trojan Technologies Corporation for the Mill Creek Regional and the New Century Air Center wastewater treatment facilities, and authorizing the wastewater general manager to execute the related agreement. The amount is $948,515. Susan Pekarik, the general manager of Johnson County Wastewater, is here to discuss the item. Ms. Pekarik, welcome back.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. Susan Pekarik with Wastewater. So Johnson County Wastewater utilizes UV disinfection as part of our treatment process to meet our permit requirements. And this request is to approve an exception to competition for Trojan Technologies for our Mill Creek and our New Century treatment facilities, and there are maps included in your agenda packet. Both of the facilities have a Generation 1 3,000-plus system. It was installed back in 2004. These systems, their life is generally 20 years, so it is time to replace them. We're actually notified by Trojan Technologies that they would no longer support that Generation 1 with spare parts. And so what we're proposing to do is an in-kind replacement to update those systems to a Generation 3, the most modern current version of this Trojan 3000-plus model. We're going to procure the equipment ourselves, and then we're going to utilize one of our term and supply contractors that was previously, those contracts were previously awarded by the board. We'll utilize one of them to install these for us at these facilities. Because the request is over $150,000, the board must approve it per our purchasing procedures. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. The funding for both the equipment as well as the install was included as part of our 2026 budget that was approved last year. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Pekarik. Questions or comments on this item? Commissioner Ashcraft, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Pekarik, could you elaborate on the need to have an exception to competition? Are there no other providers out there? What makes this so unusual that we're not able to go to the market and try to obtain competitive pricing?
Thank you, sir, for the question. So in the case of ultraviolet light systems, they're proprietary systems, and so they can vary widely in terms of their shape and their size and the number of light tubes. And so you have to, in order for the UV system to work, you have to be able to get that light to penetrate the water in order to disinfect it. And so therefore, the concrete channel that you put that equipment in ends up getting designed around the equipment. And so replacing in kind minimizes any sort of modifications we would need to do to those concrete channels. If we were to go out to the market, we would need to do a study, design, bid it, and then it would likely require, if it wasn't Trojan, it would require major modifications, potentially even a new building, depending on what that looked like. So we feel like this is the most cost-effective way to proceed, continue to retain the value out of the buildings that equipment's in.
Thank you. That's a helpful clarification. One procedural question, Ms. Pekarik, and this may not be directed to you, but we have assurances that the relationship between Burns and McDonald and Trojan are an arm's length relationship, that
Yeah.
they don't have any proprietary or associated relationships?
So included in the contracts are statements of that they have to disclose any conflicts either before entering into the contract or during the performance of the contract.
Okay, thank you.
No further questions or comments on this one? Seeing none, is there a motion? Commissioner Hanslick, thank you.
I move that the Board of County Commissioners authorize an exception to competition for the purchase of ultraviolet light disinfection equipment from Trojan Technologies Corporation in an amount not to exceed $948,515 for the Mill Creek Regional and the New Century Air Center wastewater treatment facilities, and authorize the wastewater general manager to execute the related agreement.
Myers, second.
So moved by Commissioner Hanslick, seconded by Commissioner Myers. Thank you, Ms. McCarrick. I'm glad that this is an in-kind replacement. I'm glad that it is the most cost-effective. I'm glad that we're procuring ourselves, saving us from markups from the contractor. So thank you for your fiscal prudence and for the operations of Johnson County Wastewater.
Thank you.
Seeing no further questions, I call the, Commissioner Brewer.
Yes. Not so much of a question, Ms. McCarrick, but I just wanted to commend you. I thought the briefing sheet and the accompanying material were extremely explicit in explaining why you were deferring a competitive bid, about the uniqueness of the ultraviolet light and that the structures built around the ultraviolet light and that in effect staying with the same vendor who you've had satisfactory services with allowed you to save what would be some infrastructure cost if you went with a different vendor. So I appreciate the level of detail that was provided to prepare us for this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any further questions, comments, clarifications? Now not seeing any further, would the clerk call the roll?
Commissioner Fast.
Aye.
Commissioner Myers.
Myers, aye.
Commissioner Brewer.
Brewer, aye.
Commissioner Hanslick.
Hanslick, aye.
Commissioner Ashcraft.
Yes.
Commissioner Allen Brand.
Allen Brand, aye.
Chairman Kelly.
Aye, that's 7 in favor and none against. Is that consistent with your count?
It is.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll move on to what was designated as item number 5 on your agenda. This is a increase in contract authority for a vehicle lease agreement during the FIFA World Cup with EAN Services LLC. Mr. Aaron Otto, Assistant County Manager, is here to present the item. Mr. Otto, welcome back.
Yeah, good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. So before you today is a administrative action to help us implement the services we have for World Cup. So I'll give you just a brief description of what this entails. Transit in the past has leased a few vehicles from a group-related enterprise to help move drivers around in the metro area that work for Transdev, our contractor. So we had an agreement already in place with this vendor for up to 12 vehicles that we've used for the last couple of years. When we entered in that agreement, we didn't know the size and complexity yet of what our World Cup services would be. So what this is an expansion of that same level of service, or that same type of service to a whole new level, which is we're bringing in over 70 drivers, mechanics, and supervisors from outside the metro area to help provide services during June and July. These will be vehicles that will help get them around both from Mid-America Nazarene University, where they'll be housed, over to the Nolte Center, but also out to different service locations. So the original agreement was put through by purchasing through a cooperative agreement. This is to take it from around $149,000 up to $350,000 by adding $200,000 worth of spending authority. I hope that number is less. We'll adjust as we need to based on our first few weeks of experiences, which will be coming up here in just a couple of weeks, but this would allow us to have the vehicles to move the drivers around. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Otto. Commissioner Ashcraft with a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Otto, can you elaborate in terms of how the estimate was arrived at for the new elevated expectation for vehicles?
Yeah, so roughly with 70 new people coming in, we looked at trying to put 3 to 4 people in a vehicle. There's going to be a mix of vehicles at play here. There's a few vans, but a lot of sedans also in play. So it just kind of came back to looking at the number of people we needed to move around and building back into that number. Again, I think that's a top line. My hope is that we can lower that a little bit once we have a few weeks of experience.
Very good. Mr. Chairman, a point of personal privilege.
You may.
This is a kind of a big week for you, is it not, Mr. Otto?
Sure, every week's a big week when I get to be with you.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Commissioner Brewer.
Thank you, Chair. In the funding overview, I just wanted to ask you a question regarding with this cost change. Was this anticipated as you were working towards your numbers and your needs for the World Cup? Is this something that you anticipated would be coming back before us as you've got those numbers in place? And was the funding available to cover this anticipated?
Yeah, that's a great clarifying question. So this was anticipated to be about a $200,000 expense. We had built that into the very first preliminary budget we started working on as it related to World Cup. And so when we were seeking partnerships with cities, the state, the federal government, really anybody that wanted to be at the table, we always carried this number as part of the cost of doing this service, if you will. So that's why in the briefing sheet, it doesn't talk about any new allocation. It really is the authority for the purchase order in order to spend dollars that you've all seen before.
Thank you for the clarification.
I'm not seeing further questions or comments at this time. Is there a motion? Commissioner Hanslick.
I move to authorize an increase to the contract authority in the amount of $201,709.16 with EAN Services LLC, a disregarded entity of Enterprise Holdings, Inc., for vehicle lease agreement during the 2026 FIFA World Cup in the total amount not to exceed $350,000 per the NASPO cooperative contract available through the State of Kansas participating addendum number PO 10700 0005035.
Brewer, second.
So moved by Commissioner Hanslick and seconded by Commissioner Brewer. Further clarification or comment, Commissioner Ashcraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Otto, just for clarification, when the briefing sheet refers to a disregarded entity, could you elaborate on that and the significance of it?
Sure. I will do my best, and I welcome purchasing's help if I flub this in some way. I did not understand what that relationship was before, but it is, my understanding is it's an entity that's owned by the parent company, but yet still can make can still make decisions on their own, but all of their financial tax-related information flows back up into the enterprise group. So it's a legal setup from a standpoint of how they adjudicate decisions and taxes. But it is a very odd way to reference it, in my opinion, but
It's not meant to be a reflection on their bona fides in any way.
correct. That's the impression it gives when you hear the word disregarded, but in this case, my understanding is that it all comes back to how they're structured in their taxes. So thanks for the question.
Very good then. Not seeing further questions or clarifications at this time, so would the clerk call the roll on Commissioner Hanslick's motion, please?
Commissioner Fast.
Aye.
Commissioner Myers.
Myers, aye.
Commissioner Brewer.
Brewer, aye.
Commissioner Hanslick.
Hanslick, aye.
Commissioner Ashcraft.
Yes.
Commissioner Allen Brand.
Allen Brand, aye.
Chairman Kelly.
Aye, that's 7 in favor, none against. Is that consistent with your count?
It is.
Very good, thank you. We'll go to the action agenda as printed at this time, so we'll start with item number 6. This is the consideration of project authority increase for the new Century Air Center Airfield Electrical Vault, and that would require a reallocation and use of additional airport enterprise reserve funds. The total amount of the project not to exceed $1,275,629. Brian Johnson, the Executive Director of the Johnson County Airport Commission, is here to discuss the item. Welcome back, sir.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. Good to be with you here on this last Thursday of May. This is really an exciting project for the airport and our continued progression towards Vision 2030 and our certification efforts. Basically, there's a couple asks in this briefing sheet today and for your consideration, but just to give you a little overview of the importance of an airport electrical vault. In principle, it houses and protects the systems that power our runways, our nav aids, and all of our operational systems at the airport. And that's a fundamental key ingredient to being successful, especially operating 24/6, 365. It ensures a reliable electrical distribution, not only to all those components, but ensures a higher level of safety, efficient use of resources at the airport, and protects all the aircraft moving throughout the airport environment in all kinds of weather conditions. That's an important note as well. All well maintained. Vault really improves the safety operational enhancement for our staff and our contractors as well, especially as they work on the electrical systems throughout the airport. Got a few slides here. It's in, I think it's on your desk. It's also in the agenda packet or will be added here shortly. Pulls out. All right. So this is my first time back in a while. Got it. All right. Thank you. Okay, good. All right. So this is a great example of the lighting environment at an airport. We don't see this that often unless we're out traveling about, domestically or internationally throughout the country. But this is a really, really good example. And this is really the core of what an aircraft or an airport electrical vault system provides. Here's some other slides here, or some other pictures of a nav aids top left. Those orange boxes there are for aircraft landing systems, and then the blue taxiway lights throughout the airport environment. This I think, slide really says it all. So on the left-hand side there is the original. So that electric vault was installed back in 1990. It's really, really basic, rudimentary, and really does not meet today's needs at the airport, especially as relates to the improvements on the runway system, as well as the air traffic control tower. So what you see on the left also can only be accessed from being outside. So you're in the elements if you're out there working on this particular system. The picture on the right is representative of what we expect to see. So it'll be a new structure with all the systems protected from all the elements, with all the modernization upgrades that you would expect for today's airport world. As far as the funding and some of our requests, certainly we're here to talk about increasing our project authority. We had an initial scope developed early on, 2022, 23-ish. We've revised it because of this modernization. So we've added multiple components. We've added airfield lighting system that directly connects to the new air traffic control tower, which will give the staff there a lot more ability to manage the system more effectively and efficiently. We've added a backup generator. Yes, the previous slide, that green box out there did not have a backup generator, which is really unusual for an airport. You expect to have a backup generator, as will the new air traffic control tower will have a backup generator. Why? Again, you want to be able to operate 24/7, 365. So there's a lot of reasons why this scope changed, but you can see the change there in the project authority number, going from 376 up to 1.275. And then as far as the reauthorization or reallocation of enterprise sources, again, some really good news there. We're capturing, of course, some Kansas Airport Improvement Funds, which we already have in the queue. And then this money, this reserve that we're using, is really a byproduct of the sale of the New Century office building. So we're taking all of those resources, all that revenue, and that was one of the conditions of the sale of that building by the FAA, that all those funds go into this runway project. And so this is a one tier of that project that is directly connected and approved by the FAA. So we're good there, and as far as a reference point as well, our reserve is really fairly in good standing. And with this, even taking out this dollar amount, our reserve then will sit now at $10.75 million. And then lastly, this is a rendering of the tower. I know you've seen this before, but we're so excited to see this all come about, knowing that this is all integrated and this airport vault is just one part of that process. I stand for questions.
Mr. Johnson, thank you very much. Commissioner Allenbrand with the first question.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, Mr. Johnson, I want to thank you for your leadership and the work that you've put into the airport. And also, Mr. Norse, just the team at work. I'm just seeing, it has been so exciting for me to see the changes that are happening, and they're not always well liked, are hard for people to make those changes. And I just want to say to my fellow commissioners, you saw the pictures. This is all new lighting, a backup generator. You don't have to be outside if it's raining and lightning. I mean, there's no way you could go out there and even work on this. We have a longer runway. This is with FAA sanction. The safety is vital for our planes coming in and out. It's also exciting to see with the new tower coming in, what this is going to do for our airport. So I'm in support of this, and Chair, when you're ready, I have a motion.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Commissioner Ashcraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Johnson, the upgrade, I understand. I defer to your technical abilities and the needs of the airport. It all seems reasonable. Just a couple of process questions I am trying to grapple with. The revised scopes, so was there an engineering estimate that was presented, and did the proposed award fall within that engineer's estimate?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Ashcraft. In fact, there was. That's some of the business that we addressed with the Airport Commission yesterday. The original engineer's estimate for the project in total was 1.26 and some change. So it was within 5% of what we're seeking today. There were two different bidders for this particular project. The low bidder was a company called Third Generation Electric. They're out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then the one bid that was fairly high called Capital Electric Construction, which is here locally.
And thank you. That was my second question. Usually when these proposals come forward, we see side-by-side comparisons as well as the engineer's estimate. Is there a reason why we didn't have a side-by-side comparison on this one?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, part of it is timing. So what we're doing, yesterday, we approved, or the Airport Commission authorized the vendor. So all of that now goes back over to procurement, and then they formalize the contract with the particular contractor that was selected. In this case, we're not talking about the contract itself. We're actually talking about the two things that we're seeking your consideration on today, which again is the project authority, so we can continue to move forward with the project, and then the reallocation of some of those enterprise funds. The contract itself gets approved at the Airport Commission level.
Correct. I just, but why wasn't the comparison included in the briefing sheet? You did not have the information? Is that what you're saying?
It's not germane.
Not part of the process, I think, or you have some thoughts?
Correct. This is just project authority. The procurement and the contracts are a separate action that is being handled at the Airport Commission level. So
and that will not be back before us?
Correct.
The commission will do that?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Further questions or comments at this time, Commissioner? No? Is there then a, Commissioner Allenbrand, your motion?
I move to authorize a project authority increase in the amount of $899,629 for a total project amount not to exceed $1,275,629 for the New Century Air Center Airfield Electrical Vault for the reallocation and use of additional airport enterprise reserve funds in the amount of $899,629 for the amount not to exceed $937,229.
Brewer, second.
So moved by Commissioner Allenbrand, seconded by Commissioner Brewer. Commissioner Brewer, did you want to continue?
Yes, I just wanted to reflect on some of the information that Mr. Johnson shared with us, and I appreciate him taking some time with me prior to today's meeting to discuss this agenda item. It's my understanding that when the original figure was estimated, that was early on in scoping out the project. So over time, the project itself changed. And I appreciated you highlighting key elements such as generators. I was surprised in our conversation to hear that, because I think about a weather event that could take out power. It doesn't preclude that there might still be aircraft that began a flight pattern before the weather event happened and still need to land. And I'm very happy to hear about the generators. And then I appreciated understanding how the tower and how runway lighting work together to make sure that we have safe landings and takeoffs, and how that's going to be a new element as well. So it seems as though, am I correct, that there was some significant changes to scope over time that impacted what we see before us today as cost?
Yes, that's correct.
And then since this particular type of action is newer for me, I know I can't say I'm a newbie anymore, but it's newer for me. I just want to clarify my understanding. You come to this body for approval on spending authority, but it's actually the Airport Commission that is tasked with the responsibility of performing the administrative functions of having an RFP process, considering those bidders and selecting the bidder that stays within the cost ceiling, the cost parameters that's been approved by this body. Is that how it works?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Brewer. Further comments, Commissioner Ashcraft?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Johnson, I appreciate the scope change and the timing issues, and am supportive of the effort. I would just offer, personally, I would prefer to see, in terms of backup documentation, the information related to the engineer's estimate and the cost comparisons. And yes, I do defer to the governing body for the airport to make that decision, but just to help me understand the context, that I would find that helpful, but I am supportive of this.
Very good. Seeing no further questions, will the clerk call the roll on Commissioner Allenbrand's motion?
Commissioner Fest.
Aye.
Commissioner Myers.
Myers, aye.
Commissioner Brewer.
Brewer, aye.
Commissioner Hanslick.
Hanslick, aye.
Commissioner Ashcraft.
Yes.
Commissioner Allenbrand.
Allenbrand, aye.
Chairman Kelly.
Aye, that's 7 in favor and none against. Is that consistent with your count?
It is.
Very good. Thank you, Mr.
All
Johnson.
right, thank you.
We'll move on now to what's item number 7 on your agenda. It's resolution number 074-26. This is a new code providing for property tax relief for homesteads, buildings, or improvements destroyed or substantially destroyed by natural disasters pursuant to KSA 79-1613. Amy Meekerberg is here to present the item. We've seen at least an introduction to these last year, and we have more on the agenda today, but this item discusses the code or the policy for how we will handle these items. So, Ms. Meekerberg, welcome back.
Yes. Good morning, and thank you, Chairman and members of the board. Amy Meekerberg, TTV. So I am presenting for your consideration Resolution Number 07426, which adopts and enacts a new code for providing property tax relief for homesteads and residential improvements that are destroyed or substantially destroyed as a result of qualifying natural disasters pursuant to KSA 79-1613. At a high level, this resolution puts in place a clear and consistent framework for how we will review and process these requests going forward. Just briefly how we got here, last November, the board reviewed their first disaster relief application that resulted in an approved relief for a residence that had been destroyed by a fire in 2025. After that, you directed staff to develop a formal policy and framework to guide how future applications would be reviewed and considered. In developing that framework, staff reviewed comparable approaches from Sedgwick and Shawnee County to help inform best practices and structure. The legal department, county clerk, county treasurer, and county appraiser teams worked together to build that framework you have in front of you today. Just a quick big thank you to each of those departments for their help and their hard work and collaboration in developing this policy. Turning to the resolution itself, the first step is that it formally codifies this process in the county code under Article 3 of Chapter 70. That ensures this is consistent and a durable process going forward. Next, the resolution defines the key standard for eligibility. Most importantly, it defines destroyed or substantially destroyed as damaged where repair costs are at least 50% of the structure's pre-damaged market value based on the county appraiser's valuation as of January 1 of the year of the loss. I want to note that the land value is not included in this determination. Also makes clear the scope of the program. The program provides property tax relief for residential homesteads, including associated buildings and improvements. Multi-dwelling and mixed-use properties may qualify if they're primary residential in nature. Examples of eligible properties include farm residences, agricultural and agro-tourism properties, and homes with small in-home businesses, provided residential use is the primary function. The program does not extend or cover commercial properties. Ineligible commercial properties include, but are not limited to, apartment complexes, office buildings, retail establishments, industrial facilities, and hotels. Also, another side note, special assessment charges are not included as part of property tax relief. From there, the ordinance lays out the application process. Applicants must submit their request by December 20th of the year following the year of the damage and provide documentation such as insurance or contractor estimates, proof of ownership, photographs of the damage, and a certification regarding any related reimbursements. The certification is the applicant attesting to the fact that they have not and will not receive any reimbursement or other payment for those property taxes at question. The county clerk conducts an initial review to make sure applications are complete, timely, and they meet eligibility requirements. Applications that are incomplete or timely may be administratively denied at this stage. After that, staff from the clerk, appraiser, and treasurer conduct a more detailed review. That includes verifying the property details, confirming the disaster event, determining market value, and calculating any prorated tax relief based on when the damage occurred during the year. It's important to note also that a first half payment will still be due even when relief is granted, because again, relief is based on the structure's value, not the land value, and not special assessments. Impacted taxing jurisdictions are also notified at that time of the projected fiscal impact to them and provided an opportunity to submit objection. Applications will be denied if the review identifies disqualifying factors. Those include tax foreclosures, certain tax delinquencies for any year other than the year at question, or objections raised by impacted taxing authorities. This is to minimize risk and offers the county our strongest position in this policy. Once taxes are certified, applications move forward to the board with staff findings and recommendations. We will bring applications to the board after certification, which is November 1st, and prior to the first half due date of December 20th. Applications received outside that window before the end of the year will be brought at the next available meeting. Again, it's important to note that a first half payment will still remain due because of special assessments and the land value that is not being considered in property tax relief. Only structure value is considered. Again, this policy is intended to operate within the framework of our Kansas laws, and it does not alter those statutory requirements. Those statutory requirements are tax certification, which is November 1st, and then tax delinquency after December 20th. The resolution also allows flexibility in cases of large-scale or widespread disasters, including the grouping of those applications or adjusting our timing so the board can better evaluate the broader fiscal impact. Again, the board can approve full relief, partial relief, or deny relief depending on the circumstances. The resolution ensures we're complying with Kansas cash law basis, meaning the relief can only be granted if funds are available. Once the clerk and treasurer implement the changes to the tax roll, we will then notify the applicant and the affected taxing jurisdictions of the relief that's been provided. In summary, this resolution creates a clear and consistent process for handling disaster-related property tax relief applications going forward. It ensures fairness and transparency and administrative clarity for our teams while ensuring that we still preserve the board's discretion in how relief is applied in a case-by-case basis. So thank you, and I'm happy to answer questions you might have.
Well, Ms. Meekerberg, very well done in terms of the summary of this policy. I appreciate that we are focusing on residential or primary residential properties here. But at the end of the day, it's still a policy, it's still discretionary to the board and how we want to handle items on a case-by-case basis. But I appreciate the structure. One question that I had to that extent was the administrative denial of applications. If they are incomplete, or if they're found to be incomplete or disqualifying in some way, is there any potential appeal process or an opportunity to come before the board based on that administrative denial?
So there's that initial denial that if they're incomplete applications, if they're not received timely, as well as if they don't meet those eligibility requirements that we outlined. So no, at this point, we would not bring those forward to the board. What we would do is bring those forward after we have the information needed and making sure they meet those. So there is a timeline where if they can't meet that initially, we can work with them to extend more time for them to bring that information to us. So, but that's the initial administrative denial.
Okay. So there would still be an opportunity to provide recourse if they were to complete the application and have the information. And then at that point, if staff's recommendation is still no, that they may not qualify under the policy, there would still be an opportunity for the board to know that an application was made, and if folks want to come or bring it to the board in some fashion, still with the board's discretion, they'd have that opportunity.
Yes, and maybe providing an example would be helpful. We have, in working with applicants, noticed that it does take time for them to gather all the information. And so if they miss that December 20th of the current tax year, they still have up to another year to submit that. And so if they are ineligible because of timing or because of not having a completed application, we'll work with them, but bring that forward. So they have up to the December 20th of the year following the year of the disaster to get that submitted to us.
Thank you for that clarification. I just want to make sure that as we're trying to be transparent and streamline, formalize this process, that we're not arbitrarily precluding an opportunity for consideration of relief. Not guaranteeing, but consideration of relief based on unique circumstances. Thank you.
Yes.
Commissioner Myers?
Thank you, Chairman. I don't have any questions, but I want to thank you, Ms. Meekerberg, for your work on this item and whoever else was involved in putting this item together. I'm in favor of this resolution. I think the policy establishes a clear and consistent process for administrating disaster-related property tax relief in Johnson County, and because of that, I'm going to vote yes on this item.
Thank you. Commissioner Fast?
Yes, thank you. And I've been in conversation with Amy for a while on this policy as it impacts my constituent who you will hear from. I guess in the future, was wondering how will residents know about it? Will it be on the website? You know, how do we communicate to let people know? And then second, I would appreciate if there is an applicant in my district that you communicate, you know, with me too.
That is a great question, and thank you for that. Yes, after the policy is, if so approved today, we will develop FAQs. We will include those on our website. You know, the policy is the high-level framework. There's probably a lot of questions that we're going to get from individuals that need relief, and we want to be able to guide them through that process. So we have already started drafting those in anticipation of approval, and we'll work with our communications department to further communicate that. We'll have talking points for our staff as well, because this is a new process. As you know, we're putting this in place, and we want to make sure we can guide everybody through the steps.
And I'll make a motion when it's time.
Great. Commissioner Burr?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. And I too appreciate the time Ms. Meekerberg and Mr. Otto have spent with me since last year's kind of pilot example of this was something that occurred in my district. And so actually I still have two outstanding questions. One is just a little bit more clarification on Chair's question. It seems like those disqualifying issues that may take an application out of consideration, some are curable and some are not. Because at the end of the day, if you miss all deadlines, you can't go back. But if I have an incomplete application and I still have an opportunity to cure it and resubmit it within that deadline window, that would be a curable issue, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, you're correct.
Okay. The other question, and this is the one that we've had a lot of conversations about, is there's a little bit of a short timeline, right? Once you batch those and you bring them to us and that first payment is due. And the expectation is the first payment would still be made, but the hope is maybe the batch could come before the body can make a decision for those that are eligible, and some notification and correction or modification to the bill could happen so that first payment is a correct payment. Because the one aspect, as you were presenting, that it made me thoughtful of that we didn't discuss previously is our job is to collect a lot of different tax item lines on a bill. And once we disperse that, and if there's a credit due, it seems like that would be a management issue if that credit would exceed the second half of the bill. So
Yeah, that's a very great observation and point. So yes, our desire is to bring this in that short time frame. So as soon as taxes are certified November 1st, we want to bring any applicants that we have for that year to the board and seek approval at that time in advance of December 20th. So we could make those adjustments as soon as we receive approval, if so desired by the board. And then if there is a payment made by a property owner, there is a remedy for making an adjustment to the second half or providing a refund if they ended up paying those in full. Not knowing each individual circumstance, we would make those adjustments between the county clerk and county treasurer's teams to ensure that they have the most accurate amount after approval, so they could either pay what's remaining or wait until their second half is due.
excellent, thank you.
You're welcome.
I apologize at this time. I forgot to note that there was a registered public commenter on this item. So if we wouldn't mind taking a step back. Mr. Harkness, you had signed up to address this item.
Jeff Harkness, Kansas, Johnson County, Overland Park, and the Shawnee Mission area. I'm going to say, when in doubt, outsource this out. Because no, this is what we're going to go through. We're kind of in that transition. Every 5 years, years ending in 2 and 7, the Census Bureau does a survey of our structure, function, finances, and management of our local governmental units. I think we're right in that transition. It starts this September or October. And as I've mentioned before, I think we're starting a whole new 100-year cycle. Hopefully, we can look right through this and get this back to the federal government. But we'll see. I mean, if this goes on forever, like I said, outsourcing might be the best way to do it. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. We'll invite back Ms. Meekerberg. Commissioner Hansel.
Thank you. Just a question about when does this resolution go into effect? And I assume there's no opportunity for it to be retroactive.
That is a great question. I might look to Peg to see if she would, I assume it goes into effect immediately once the board approves and signs?
Chair and Commissioners, there's a publication, so this will get published after publication. It's effective upon that publication, so shortly thereafter your approval. And there is no retroactive look-back period. It's moving forward.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ashcraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, Ms. Meekerberg, to me, this is a no-brainer. I appreciate the effort. There may be any number of questions and stumbles as we go forward, and I'm sure staff will be diligent and stay on top of it and make modifications as necessary. I like this attempt to also include consultation with our sister governments because it could potentially impact them. You had indicated, though, that land values would not be included. There have been some circumstances historically where after a catastrophe, for lack of a better term, that the ground is so contaminated that it cannot be rebuilt upon. So is there any possibility to consider that and heaven forbid that ever happen?
No, not at this time. The statutory structure is very specific, that it provides tax relief only for the portion of the property that was destroyed, which is that structure. So meaning the house qualifies, not the land value. I think if that were the will of the board, we would need to strongly look into if that would work within the framework of Kansas law, if we wanted to make that modification, but at this point, it does not include land value.
I'm not proposing that. I'm just offering that as an observation. A couple clarifications, if I could, and I appreciate your elaboration in terms of trying to deal with the deadline and how to manage that given the circumstances, because if it's late in the cycle, such events can be very traumatic and people just sometimes don't have the wherewithal, and the process of offering refunds, given the circumstance, that makes a lot of sense. But clarify for me, when we say all eligible applications will be grouped and presented to the BOCC, is that applications from one individual or from many individuals? And why, if it's from many, then why would it be necessary to have them all grouped together?
That's a great question, and there's kind of two parts to that, right? So we're grouping them and bringing them to you after taxes are certified. So we would group, for example, in 26 this year, any fire that occurred or any other natural disaster. We would group any applications we're receiving this year and bring them to you in November, right after certification. And then we also have the grouping that would be at a separate time if we had a widespread, large-scale disaster. So.
Thank you for those clarifications.
So at the end of the day, just to take a step back, there's a statutory scheme that exists under Kansas law that allows the board to grant the property tax relief for homesteads, buildings, or improvements, not land, but the buildings and improvements. In order to be transparent, in order to allow this board to be more effective in the way that we would handle applications, we're considering this policy given the statutory authority that comes from the state and gives that power to the board, not to a third party, but to the board. So I appreciate that consideration. I think the policy is well put. We'll allow Commissioner Fast to go ahead and make her motion at this time.
Yes, I move that the board approve resolution number 074-26, adopting and enacting a new code providing for property tax relief for homesteads, buildings, or improvements destroyed or substantially destroyed by natural disasters pursuant to KSA 79-1613.
Brewer, second.
So moved by Commissioner Fast, seconded by Commissioner Brewer. And while I appreciate this policy, it is just that. If we need adjustment, if we need innovation, we'll continue to make that. But I'm glad we're moving forward with this policy, and I thank the team for putting it together.
Thank you.
If there are not further questions or comments at this time, we'll go ahead and call the roll on Commissioner Fast's motion.
Commissioner Fast.
Aye.
Commissioner Myers.
Myers, aye.
Commissioner Brewer.
Brewer, aye.
Commissioner Hanslick.
Hanslick, aye.
Commissioner Ashcraft.
Yes.
Commissioner Allen Brand.
Allen Brand, aye.
Chairman Kelly.
Aye, that's 7 in favor, none against. Is that consistent with your count?
It is.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Minker-Berg. But stay right there, because we have item number 8 now, and this is resolution number 075-26. This is the consideration of John and Lucy Shelton's application for real property disaster relief on their property located at 8208 Linden Drive in Prairie Village, pursuant to the KSA 79-1613 statute. Ms. Minker-Berg, I know we just went through a policy, but would you like to present anything specific on this item?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. And Commissioners, I'm bringing, Amy Meekerberg, TTV, I'm bringing forward resolution number 07526 for your consideration. This is an application for real property disaster relief for John and Lucy Shelton for their homestead, which is located at 8208 Linden Drive in Prairie Village. So on May 17th, 2025, this property was destroyed by fire. The applicant has provided the documentation necessary, which we have included for your review. After review by our legal, TTV, and appraiser teams, we can confirm that this application meets statutory requirements and does also meet the framework that we just approved. The applicants provided a licensed contractor's written estimate of repairs at an amount of $634,433.53. This exceeds 50% of the structure's pre-damage value, which was $601,500. The application was submitted timely. However, because we didn't have a formalized policy in place for handling applications or a process, we deferred this action until today, but want to bring it to you today because of the timing. The property in question is not subject to tax foreclosure and does not have outstanding property taxes. No taxing authorities, after being notified, have raised an objection. The applicant has also attested that they have not received proceeds intended to cover the property taxes at issue. So the prorated tax relief amount that is calculated, again, it's prorated based on May 17th of 2025, is the amount of $2,892.47. And again, this is the prorated amount based on the structure's tax amount. We recommend the board adopt resolution number 07526, approving the Shelton's application for real property disaster relief by directing the county clerk and county treasurer to provide that reduction in amount of $2,892.47 for the 2025 property taxes, which have been paid in full, so there will be a refund due the Sheltons. And John and Lucy Shelton are with us here today, and I believe that Mr. Shelton would like to make some comments.
I prefer to wait till after.
Okay, very good. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Very good. Commissioner Hanslick.
Thank you. Appreciate your, excuse me, presenting this. Just a question in terms of, does this situation meet all of the requirements in the resolution we just previously passed?
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
All right. Further questions or comments on this item or a motion? Commissioner Fast, go ahead.
I move that the board approve resolution number 075-26, approving John and Lucy Shelton's application for real property disaster relief on property R136387 located at 8208 Linden Drive in Prairie Village, and direct the county clerk and county treasurer to provide a credit in the amount of $2,892.47 for the 2025 real property taxes.
Allen Brand, second.
So moved by Commissioner Fast and seconded by Commissioner Allen Brand. Commissioner Ashcraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was just going to offer to John and Lucy Shelton, I'm truly sorry for what happened and how it worked, but I wanted to share that your struggle, I think, taught us something and will help other individuals, other unfortunate individuals in the future with a process that will, at this point, I would confess may not be perfect, but will be helpful and allow us to be even better and more responsive. So again, sorry for your loss, but thank you for bringing this forward and being diligent on the matter.
Any further comments? Commissioner Fast.
Yes, I want to say too, I know it's taken a little bit longer than we expected because you're pioneering a new policy. So thank you, John and Lucy, for your patience. And I too express my sincere apologies for your loss. And thank you. You're making Johnson County stronger through this policy and pioneering this policy.
Thank you. If there are not further questions or comments at this time, I am happy to call a vote at this time unless we want to hear from Mr. Shelton at this time. Or do you want to wait till after a vote's taken?
I prefer to wait if you have questions of me.
No, I don't think there's any questions of you at this time. So we'll have the clerk call the roll on Commissioner Fast's motion.
Commissioner Fast.
Aye.
Commissioner Myers.
Myers, aye.
Commissioner Brewer.
Brewer, aye.
Commissioner Hanslick.
Hanslick, aye.
Commissioner Ashcraft.
Yes.
Commissioner Allen Brand.
Allen Brand, aye.
Aye, that's 7 in favor and none against. Is that consistent with your count?
It is.
All right, very good. Thank you very much, Ms. Meekerberg. We'll go ahead and conclude the item unless there's any comments you'd like to make. Please.
See if my knee replacement can wait. It's still waiting. Chairman Kelly, commissioners, we appreciate the opportunity to make comment here. We moved into this house when our first was 6 months old. Today is his 37th birthday. We raised 2 boys. Lucy and I raised 2 boys in this house. And by the way, she's all the way over there with the Kleenex, so we'll see how this goes. And so, as you would expect, all of that history is gone. And so I appreciate the comments that have been made because we know those are heartfelt and we've really been the beneficiary of some great help along the way, starting with police and fire in this community. And then because of my history in many years past where I actually had a real estate broker's license in Missouri, Kansas, and California, I knew there were questions that should be asked because of the loss of the use and enjoyment of an asset. So I reached out, and immediately I got a call back. And there's other questions, other things that need to be found, a deed that need to be found. And so all of those things happened. And in particular, Stephanie Harding, who was the one that found the deed for me, and Kristen and Amy, you've heard from Amy, but Kristen and Amy along the way, I raise a call or send an email, and we got something back right away every time. It's been really great to work with these people. And the fact that everything is in place is because of the counsel that the folks in this office gave us, and I really appreciate that. I do want to comment that Lucy and I have been here for a long time. We've lived in this community, and I'm employed by a firm that's a successor to a firm from the 19th century. And in my volunteer work, I'm at New Century, where I'm a member of Civil Air Patrol, and our garment-equipped Cessna 182 Cap 1497 is in the North T hangars. So thank you for approving that for our people. I have an airline transport rating and a type rating in the Boeing 727 and the Lockheed Electra, but I stopped flying about 2 years ago because the time to maintain proficiency was too precious, and I have to do my day job first. But then the rest of the time is spent in ground things with mission-based staff and whatever, and I'm the only incident commander in Civil Air Patrol in this part of the state. And that's why the vehicle that I normally drive with the big long antenna, the HF radio, is how we would get our tasking if the grid goes dark, because we are the Air Force's domestic search capability and are technically part of 1st Air Force, even though we're civilians, and unpaid, of course. But along the way, the things that I wanted to observe, this has given us a unique opportunity to see some of the things that we're all talking about in the current era in this community. And I've been in places when Brian has spoken here before. And Chairman Kelly, thank you for coming to the event at CORE from Good Faith Network. I know it was appreciated, your comments were appreciated. I'd like to offer a couple of comments, if I may, on this question of housing. In 1978, I was living in California when Proposition 13 passed. Proposition 13, as you all I'm sure remember, said that the rate of taxation on a property was capped at 1% of appraised value, and the annual limit was limited to 2%. It is my opinion that I'd like to offer that part of the housing issue, and by the way, I feel really presumptuous to talk about this given the people that are homeless today. And I know that you all are trying to work on that. Part of the homelessness is influenced by keeping people in their houses. And I think the issue of what happens with the valuations of properties is partly due to how our cities do permits. We're living in a rental right now near the Prairie Village shops. It feels like there is a tear down on every block. And of course, those are affecting the assessed valuations of everybody around them. It would seem to me, just offering this as a citizen, that the folks that want to do a tear down ought to pay the full taxes on that property, and that the tax increase would not be passed to the neighborhood properties. So part of that, though, what led to Proposition 13 was not because of that issue. It's because the mill levy wasn't controlled when valuations were going up. And I'm not saying that the mill levy is out of control here, but I think there's two issues that we need to work on. One is how we in the communities do our permitting, and secondly, how we at the county handle our mill levies in the face of rising assessed valuations and how those assessed valuations are passed around. We appreciate, Lucy and I appreciate your consideration on this. As I say, we appreciate the work that the staff did to bring that to you here today. I look forward to having some conversations with our representatives later on some things that we learned in this process that are a learning process. And it was, I did not realize when we started how fresh it was. So I do appreciate the consideration that you gave us along the way. And it's a delight to be a resident here in Johnson County.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shelton. All right, we're going to move on at this time. We have a county manager's report next on our agenda, so we'll invite Ms. Postoke Ferguson to provide a report.
Chairman, thank you. Chairman and Commissioners have 3 items. So the first is a CRE report, the County Economic Research Institute April edition. A few highlights. In February 2026, the unemployment rate was 4% compared to 3.7% in February of 2025, and this is a 0.3% change. Year-to-date, single-family home sales through March were 1,794 compared to 1,551 last year, and this is a 15.7% increase. Single-family building permits year-to-date through March issued were 523 compared to 420 the previous year. This is a 24.5% increase. And then total retail sales for Johnson County in February is an increase of 8.5%. And that's with 2 months into the year. The next item is a highlight of something that you've heard of and will continue to hear throughout June, but we have our budget open houses for the 2027 proposed budget scheduled for Wednesday, June 23rd at Blue Valley Hilltop Conference Center and Thursday, June 24th at Johnson County Arts and Heritage Center. And of course, you know, that's to give the community a chance to review details, ask questions, share feedback, and there will be some interactive component to that as well. Then the last item is major projects update. As you recall, this is a report for major projects over $1 million and those with master plans and studies. A few highlights from that is Health Services Building. So this project is approaching the key milestones, including permanent power and completion on first floor rough-ins. Major milestones remain unchanged and achievable, so progress is well underway with exterior completion projected the exterior for July 2026 for overall completion the fourth quarter of 27. So things are on track. And then Spring Hill Library renovation and expansion. This project is currently in the owner installation, furniture, technology, and operational needed items phase. The general contractor turned over the building on May 1st and is now completing landscaping, punch list items, and preparing for an opening. Upcoming milestones include the opening of the building on June 3rd. So with that, Chairman, that concludes my report.
Not seeing any questions. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
At this time, we'll move to commissioner comments. We do have an executive session hereafter. So at this time, we'll do commissioner comments. Start with Commissioner Brewer today.
Thank you, Chair. And just a few comments. Was happy to be a part of recognition of EMS Week last week. They hosted a couple breakfasts for staff, and at one of the events, they also recognized some key supervisory staff, the National Guard did, as employers who are supportive of their National Guard and Reserve employees, and they were actually nominated by one of their employees, so it was nice to see that recognition. Had a chance, along with some other commissioners, to tour the progress on this Health Services Building, and it is coming along nicely, and it is great to see the efficiencies and to start to see how the different departments and the flow of that work will be improved with this new building. I was proud to be a part, to attend the Johnson County Community College GED Adult Education graduation, where the featured keynote speaker was not only a graduate of the GED program, but today is a teacher at the Johnson County Corrections Adult Residential Center, and actually a highly regarded teacher who has inspired a number of GED graduates, one of which who also spoke at the event. Mark and LISC have been working together along with a number of other local area organizations around their regional housing partnership, and was happy to participate in a housing policy innovation educational session on modular and prefabricated homes and understanding the changes and updates there. We had a robust standing room only crowd at the K7 169 Highway Study open house in Spring Hill last week. The cities of Olathe, Spring Hill, Johnson County government, Miami, and the state of Kansas are collaborating on this study on that K7 corridor, and really had robust participation from residents in that area around what they're seeing so far as recommendations and what thoughts that they have. In addition to that, also earlier this month, we hosted an airport master plan open house at the Johnson County Executive Airport. And that's just the first of what will be, I believe, 3 more additional open houses. And they're approaching that by doing separate open houses at the Johnson County Executive Airport, which is in my district, and then open houses at the New Century Airport, which of course is in District 6. So those are some of my key updates, other than attending a most recent Continuum Care on Homelessness meeting and getting some data update and breakdown. So thank you.
Commissioner Myers.
Thank you, Chair. I know during public comments, my name was mentioned several times by Mr. Hobart. I just want to say that I stand by my comments. One of the great things about these meetings is that people can go back and they can look and listen and see comments that were made and the response to those comments. And so I would encourage people, if anyone has a problem or an issue, that they go back and listen and see those comments that were made and then determine, make their determination on what they hear and what they saw. The one thing I will say is that you cannot rewrite history because of your thoughts. And so I think it's important that, again, that's one of the reasons why I've always been for the video or the recording of any comments made on this dais during meetings. And so that's what I have today.
Thank you. Commissioner Fast.
Yes, I just wanted to highlight, I don't know if people are following, our very own Johnson County Community College men's baseball team, rated #1 World Series last night. They won again. They have 2 games left. So, Chairman, can we have a ticker tape parade if they win? Right here through Johnson County. Let's go.
Let's go indeed.
So I speak monthly at a Northeast Elected Officials Town Hall. We have between online and in person around 150 people. I talked about the World Cup, and so many people thanked me for what the county's been doing on the leadership of the World Cup. Very excited about the bus service, the circular route. I joined the Northeast mayors also get together every month, and it's a good time for me to hear what all the cities are doing. I joined Mayor Mickelson. There is a new Buenos Aires, the Buenos Aires restaurant, Argentina restaurant in Shawnee, opened up a pop-up in the Prairie Village shops. Claudia Luna, wonderful woman, the empanadas to die for. She's having trivia nights, watch parties. A lot of friends of theirs are coming in from Argentina. So please, all of us, go visit her. I've talked to Penny that next week about having some empanadas to celebrate since Argentina is the reigning World Cup. And so Mayor Mickelson and I have a joke that Prairie Village is the soccer World Cup of the county. They're fast working on the Meadowbrook Inn being where the England team will be staying. The park will still be open. We also had the Workforce Partnership meeting, Commissioner Brewer and I. One of the things they're dealing with is the Bureau of Labor Statistics is not producing data which guides their grant funding. It, kind of then set, we have the SERI. It shows why SERI is important if our National Bureau of Labor Statistics not producing labor statistics. And so they're moving to their new location at Center of Grace and in KCK. We'll let you know when that is. And I was also at the Mid-America Region Board meeting this week. I'm really excited about this regional housing fund that they're creating. They're almost $40 million invested to produce more attainable housing. And that they said that we as a county could have a fund, a part of it, or we could help support projects that they're funding. So there's more to learn as a commission. So I think that's a really exciting next step to have a regional housing fund.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Allenbrand.
Thank you, Chair. Commissioner Faust, can you get Messi to come and eat those with us?
Yeah.
Just wondering.
You can get your picture with them at the restaurant.
There you go. I just wanted to say the gentleman that spoke today during public comments, the Salvation Army hosts Monday through Friday hot meals. They also have showers and a place that you can relax. It's not 7 days a week, but that is something that's open. The gentleman here spoke of CORE. I'm a member of CORE, and we have a rummage sale coming up. And, that's money that goes for help with the homelessness. And, also people that are trying to, especially for kids, we have kids with no jammies, with no bedroom furniture. There's an option of a place that you can go to get furniture when you're going into an apartment. And I'll try to reach out to him to see if he has those items. I also, after our joint board meeting at JCDS, was concerned about the apartment complex going up and the liking of funds. And I've been working with the chair trying to get that shortfall of $3 million. Commissioner Faust, I'm wondering if that regional funds could help us with some of that. I've been working with Janelle Bowers. We went out and met with a potential donor and received a check from them, but we have several other appointments coming up and looking at other options of that $3 million shortfall. I have to say I do struggle with money that we give to outside agencies when we have a project like this for Medicaid people that need to have a home and a place and be able to provide services of having income coming in with all the different program we have. And so any help I can get to work with them, I think it's important. I also want to say I've been hearing a lot about the World Cup and, just comments that are going out to the community that is not as well received. And I don't know where all that information is coming from. This morning, again, they said it was the #1 nationally, that United States was the best place to go, weather-wise and also lodging. And as you all know, if you have those favorite restaurants over at Meadowbrook, those restaurants are booked from June 10th through the end of July, along with the hotel. So I'm not sure where people are hearing that, but I hope you pay attention to everything that's going on. So I really appreciate the chair working on that, and that we've come together to see that happen. And it seems like there was one more thing, I think. Oh, and the airport meeting you heard today from Brian Johnson. I'm excited to see what's happening. There is a proposal that's coming forward. And I hope that that all works out, because the potential of 4,000 employees by 2030. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Ashcraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I was not able to attend the Community Corrections Advisory Board meeting this week, so my report was based on talking to staff afterwards. It was a fairly short meeting. They attended to some budgetary adjustments fairly routine and minor, reflecting what state requirements for them to maintain their reporting. If I hear anything else, I will share it. But I did want to also talk about JCDS, fairly significant meeting this month, this week. But before I talk about that, Project Search's 13th graduation was 2 Saturdays ago. That program is going great guns and a lot of success there. The meeting today, or this week, I should say, had 3 points that I just wanted to mention. One is that the SWIFT program, which is the bus service that helps the disabled, is being transferred back to JCDS from Transit. It was transferred to Transit in the 90s, I believe. We're not quite sure what the iterations were then, but it will be moved back. Staff is looking forward to that, and I think it'll help both departments, and it definitely will help the clients with the program. I was also going to mention Commissioner Allenbrand's name was mentioned during this meeting several times, and she has outlined what the conversation was. The staff was very appreciative of her efforts to work on the what is commonly being referred to as the Floyd Street project, and the challenges that they're having. Friends of JCDS and staff are looking at some options and will be coming forward to the commission potentially in the next few weeks. There's some timing issues that they're trying to deal with, but I've been sworn not to say anything because staff wants to get their ducks in the row, as it were. Finally, Mr. Chairman, the clients of the arts program through JCDS have been constructing and offering as a fundraiser for sale items. They're called garden spheres. They look like large concrete, I was going to say basketballs, but the soccer balls, and they are available for purchase and to go online. The JCDS is working with the Parks Department. Commissioner Myers probably knows more about this than I do, to promote these items. They are wonderful garden ornaments, so I would encourage anyone who has an interest in having a little bit of artistry and flair in their gardens to go to either the JCDS website or the Parks and Rec website to look at those. Some of them are being bid upon fairly heavily. Others, I think, are still steals of the deal. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Very good. Commissioner Hanzlik.
Thank you. I'm not going to repeat all of the amazing things that have been going on that we've all had the opportunity to be part of. But I did want to use my time to thank the Johnson County Sheriff's Office for a couple of things. One is a couple of weeks ago, I had the opportunity to attend the graduation ceremony for 10 new deputies graduating from the Sheriff's Academy. Very impressive people, very caring families that are supporting them. And it was truly a privilege to be there and witness that 24th class of the Basic Law Enforcement Academy. And in addition to that, a couple of weeks ago, one of the neighborhood groups that is in District 4 that has been very attentive to safety and security issues in their neighborhood held a meeting and invited me to come. And I invited one of our sheriff's deputies, Deputy King, came, and he was able to talk to them about things going on with in the neighborhood and going on in the county from a safety and security perspective, as well as an update on the World Cup security. So thank you very much to the Sheriff's Office for all the things that you do. And just finally wanted to mention, I put these on the back table, but The Mid-America Regional Council has released its Spring 2026 Regional Trails and Bikeways Map. You can find it online at the Mid-America Regional Council website, or if you're here in person, there are some as you go out the door. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll be very brief. Just want to highlight two quick things. Number one, the Johnson County Drop and Ride service that we have created and have established for the 2026 World Cup begins June 1st. You can go to johnsoncountyunited.com and find out additional information on the timing of that drop and ride service. But we hope people, not only our visitors, but our residents, give that a try, whether you be traveling for work or for business, for vacation, or welcoming family and friends. Consider utilizing this service that'll run throughout the summer. Again, johnsoncountyunited.com, and you'll hopefully see more information about that through various networks and through the Johnson County Communications Department. Additionally, I was glad that we were able to provide an additional proclamation this morning. I just want to make sure that people understand if they have various accomplishments, community efforts that are going through Johnson County, while it's not always possible to formally recognize each and every one of those, we do want to hear about them, and we want to recognize those and celebrate with you. Many of those proclamations are issued directly to the organizations or their community partners at their various events. A recent example is that we recognized the Relay for Life of Joe Dott. That's honoring those impacted by cancer and the community members working to support research, remembrance, and hope. So I'd hope you'd reach out and allow us to celebrate and recognize accomplishments within our community with you. So thank you for considering that. We do have an executive session that's on our agenda today. However, we're going to take just a short 10-minute break at this time for staff and commissioners. We'll come back after that time for that executive session. But for now, we'll be in recess. Thank you all very much.
Exactly true.
We are back on the record. We are now going to hear a motion for an executive session from Commissioner Hanslick.
I move that the board recess its open meeting and convene an executive session at 11:31 a.m. for a total period of 10 minutes for the purpose under KSA 754319B2 of consultation with legal counsel, which would be privileged in the attorney-client relationship to provide legal advice involving the sheriff's office and to reconvene in open session in this room at 11:41 a.m. The county manager, the deputy county manager, and chief counsel will be in attendance for this discussion relating to legal advice involving the sheriff's office.
Allen Brand, second.
Moved by Commissioner Hanslick, seconded by Commissioner Allen Brand. Would the clerk call the roll, please?
Commissioner Fast.
Aye.
Commissioner Myers.
Myers, aye.
Commissioner Brewer.
Brewer, aye.
Commissioner Hanslick.
Hanslick, aye.
Commissioner Ashcraft.
Yes.
Commissioner Allen Brand.
Allen Brand, aye.
Chairman Kelly.
Aye, 7 in favor, none against. Consistent with your count?
It is.
Very good, then we'll be in recess. Thank you. Ready? All right. We are back on the record at 11:41 out of executive session. No action is being taken at this time. Therefore, absent objection from anyone on the board, we are adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Chair.